Look, we turning conversation into application. This ain't for you if you can't handle deep communication. I see too many trying to teach when they need all the teaching. If you can't practice what you preach, then what's the point of speaking? Look, we thank the Lord for another season. Don't think they ready for you, Lee. I think them boys are sleeping. But we gon' hustle every hour like it's our last. Open up your mind, it's the converSAYtion podcast. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the converSAYtion podcast. I am your host, Leon Reed Jones, and we are at the place where we turn conversation into application. I have a very special guest in the building on today. Anybody who knows me, I love supporting people. I love seeing people in their state of being creative and doing the things that they love doing and helping others. So when I saw this person over social media, I'm like, yeah, I gotta either get in contact with this person or I gotta have them on the podcast. Today, we have none other than Miss Dele Nguyen. How you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
For sure. I'm definitely excited just to talk about everything that I have planned for the podcast, just having conversations off camera. So I'm super excited to get into today's conversation. But with that being said, the first question that I always ask my guests, if you had to describe yourself, what would you say about yourself? If you had to describe Dele, what would you say about yourself?
Certain amount of words or just
just straight from the heart.
I always describe myself as the mom friend.
Okay.
I'm a photographer. I'm in media, digital marketing strategist, but I like to consider myself more of a businesswoman than anything.
Okay.
So I would start there.
That's cool. That's cool. I like two things that you said. The mom friend. Why would you say the mom friend?
I'm really good at knowing what people need without them asking.
Okay.
And I usually have, I'm the mom with, the snacks and the aspirin and the Band-Aids. You know, I'm very, nurturing.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And the business woman side of it, why do you feel as though, this is, first and foremost, this is who I am?
I've dabbled in a lot of different things. I think that as multifaceted creatives, we find ourselves doing a lot of different things. Yeah. And I've always struggled to kind of categorize it because I do like labels. I'm also an organizer. That's also a part of the mom thing. Yeah. And so I've always tried to put a label on it. And when you take a step back and look at the bigger picture, I mean, you're just good at business.
Yeah,
that's the one thing that everything has in common is I'm good at the back end. I'm good at keeping things organized. I'm good at client relations, and all that good stuff, no matter what I happen to be selling or working on.
That's dope. Love to hear that. Now, you are the first person that I'm going to ask this next question to. So, okay. So if you had to, in this season of your life, this chapter of your life, if you had to pick a song to describe that season, what would you say?
I am a Jeezy fanatic.
Hey, shout out Jeezy.
So for some reason, when I think of me and my career, my theme song is it entrepreneurship or entrepreneur? Yeah. I forget already. That's how I'm not a real fan, but I would say that one. Because that's every time I'm on my way somewhere, I was listening to it earlier on the way here. That's my lock-in song. Okay,
that's cool. That's cool. That's a good answer. I felt like you was going to give a really good answer because the pause, you
it was either going to be really good or really bad.
No, you did really good. So you talked about how you mentioned how you were a photographer, and we're going to get into that. But take us back to your earliest memory of your journey. What pushed you forward to everything that you're doing now? What was that earliest memory? It could be as a kid when you had your first job. What was that earliest memory of you that basically shaped the path that you're on now?
The journey started with me feeling very lost. I had no direction. I wasn't good at anything, or in my mind, I wasn't good at anything. I didn't really have a hobby. I wasn't committed to any sports, hobbies. I was working, even as an adult, I was working, odd end jobs and things like that. It wasn't anything I was set on or serious about. and it was high school junior. I picked up one of my mom's cameras, and I was just messing around with it. It wasn't serious. It was like playing with a toy. And I was taking pictures of my sister, and I brought the photos back in, and my mom has dabbled in photography, and she was like, you have an eye for this. And love my mother. She's an amazing mother, but growing up, I didn't have a whole lot of like praise and like, good job, you did it. Like, and so in that moment, that was the moment. I was like, my mom is proud of me. She's like, you did a good job. And so I just never put it down. I built a career out of it. Was that the plan all along? Absolutely not. But it was something I was naturally good at. And sometimes you have to start somewhere where like you're naturally good at something.
Yeah. I love that. I feel like that's such a like dope moment for me, because I'm like, people who know me, I love hearing people's stories. So like just seeing that moment there, like some people can look at it as just like, oh, well, you were just playing with the camera, but seeing how much, even just hearing you talk about it in the way that you did, and knowing now that, okay, as a kid, I didn't get that much praise. Now you see like my mother sees me and sees that I'm great at something, where for so long you started off the conversation about like I was lost. I had no sense of direction. I was quitting things. I just felt like in that moment back then I wasn't good at stuff, and then I finally find something that, even though I'm just messing around, I'm just using it. I see a camera, I'm playing with it like it's an action figure or a toy, and then I see, wow, I'm really dope at this. I'm really good at this. And then now you get the batter in your back from your mom, even knowing like, hey, I didn't really receive a lot of good job, keep going. Yep. You hear that one thing, and that just pushes you to say, hey, now this is something that I want to do. So I kind of want to stay there a little bit. So when you find out, okay, this is something that I'm great at, you start, messing around with it, middle school, high school. Now where do you go from there? Once you see that, what's the next steps for you after that? Absolutely. What takes place?
So obviously it started with the kind of the outside validation. That was kind of the jump start, the kickstart. But over time I built, a network. I practiced my craft. It was all self-taught. I didn't go to school for any of it. I didn't reach out to any mentors. I literally took that, and excuse my French, the shitty camera. It was by no means top quality anything. And I kept building. I was shooting a lot for free, a lot of discounts, building a portfolio, going to all the events, meeting new people. And over time, I eventually built the network that I have now and the skill. I learned how to shoot indoor, outdoor. I learned the settings. I bought all the equipment over time. And now it's just to the point of, it was a brief moment, it was outside validation, but it's definitely all, self-made now. It's like, you have to earn it, but I'm finally in a place where like, no, I'm doing this for me now.
For sure. And do you feel like, obviously you said now I'm doing this because I love it. Obviously I knew I was good at it, but for so long I did it for validation. Do you credit that to not having the praise growing up, not being told often that, hey, I'm really good at this. I'm like, and you hear like, cause I look at it two ways, right? Like somebody could, which I was thinking about this actually the other day, like you hear dads or like coaches who have really great athletes in their family, like tell them negative stuff while they're receiving praise from their friends, or you maybe a crush or people on social media, but then you have that dad or that sibling that's like, no, you're not good enough. And it's like, I understand the motive behind it, because you want them not to get comfortable. You don't want them to feel like, oh, well, I'm cool at number one in my city. Like, no, we want you to be number one and beyond just Detroit. We want you to be all over. Like, so do you feel as though you can credit that to not receiving that praise? Was it just that, or was it some other things internally? Like, what would you say?
I would definitely credit it to not receiving the praise as a child. Because I don't think I would have made the decision otherwise. I don't think there were any other elements to the decision of keep going. I think it was just, we all want to make our parents proud.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And so when you get that reaction, it's like dopamine. You want to keep going back and getting more. And it might not be your parents. It might be your significant other. It might be something else. And I don't think that that's always healthy long term.
Yeah.
But if that's how you started, I think that it is. As long as you don't like continue to search for that the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely credit it to that for sure.
Yeah, no, it's dope that you said that, because I remember, and I was shocked my mom even said something like this, to be real, because of the fact of what you're saying about you want to make your family proud. It's like when your parents say they mad at you, you feel a way, but it's like when your parents say, I'm disappointed in you, you're like, sheesh, are you disappointed in me? What?
It hits different.
Yeah, so it's like when I hear that from you, and then you say, I think about when my mom like, hey, even though I'm your mom, I love you to death, do what you were put on this earth to do. And you in middle school, you in high school, you may not know right away, but eventually we're going to give you the skills as your parents as best as we can. Yep. But when there is going to be a point in time where you have to do the searching and the digging for whatever it is that you were put on earth to do. So it's like, I agree with that wholeheartedly, from the standpoint of like, sometimes you're doing it for mom and it's like, this ain't you. You could be living through mom, and that's, like you said, not healthy. Like, do you feel like, what do you feel like are in your personal opinion, like what are the effects from that? Like, what can be the unhealthy effects or impact it can have from that, doing or living that way for so long?
Yeah. I would say that you have to tread lightly. You have to be careful when the people pleasing and living for others. So you don't want to get stuck in it. I would say a scarcity mindset. And I'm just now getting out of it. I have an embodiment coach. I'm leaning into my network and those around me more. But I'm so used to that scarcity mindset and working in isolation and doing things for others, people pleasing, et cetera, that I kind of got stuck in a loop. And for more context, I've been doing this for 10 years. So just now pulling myself out of it, going on my 11th year, is kind of crazy to be stuck in that loop for so long. So don't be like me. But yeah, it's a toxic place to be in, and I'm thankful that I was still able to like scale and build while in it. But I know I probably could have been faster if I would have just kind of gone against that grain. Yeah.
So like for you, just, I know I got more questions, but just I'm enjoying the, like what we're currently talking about now, but like seeing how you said, hey, and sometimes we don't even recognize it, I feel like. And so it's dope to hear that you say that, like, we could be doing so well at something, we don't even address or recognize the fact that, man, I could be in a way better place if I just do this for me, or if I do it for the, quote unquote, right reasons, So even though you said I got to build, but had I not had this mindset, I could have been where I wanted to be a little bit faster. So for you, we talk about not having that praise younger, and then wanting the validation, hey, I want to hear the praise. I want to, because at the end of the day, like you said, you want to be told you did a good job. You want to be able to get that pat on the back or that hug, like, keep going. Some people like, hey, if I tell them, they going to get comfortable. But I think you should never stop telling someone that they're great at what they do. And it's not that sometimes it could go left, sometimes it could, but I feel like nonetheless, you should still affirm people. Some need more affirmation than others, but regardless, you still affirm. So like with that being said, what could you see for yourself? Obviously, when you talk about it brings a scarcity mindset. So for you personally, as you're still building, what was that moment where you recognized, like, I need to stop doing this? Now, you said it was recent, but what was that specific moment? Like, what did that? Because
it's so fresh, I can tell you.
Yeah.
I built and scaled, right? But you hit a wall when you don't, and I'm going to call them demons because I can't find a better phrase for it. But when you don't face your demons, they eventually come back and get you.
For sure.
Until you face them, right? Until you have the hard conversation with yourself, until you're honest with yourself. And so, like, yes, I was able to build and scale, but then I hit a wall.
Yeah.
And my business, the way I built it, my personal development, I was stagnant. So it wasn't sustainable. I scaled, but I could scale farther, and I knew it, and I could see it past the line, but I wasn't equipped mentally, or, I didn't have the capacity client wise. So, again, my mom, your parents are very influential, but she was a workaholic, single mom, worked a lot. And so I think I get a lot of my business from her too, just observing her, watching her on meetings and things like that. And for 10 years, I have been booked and busy back to back to back to back. And I don't, again, with the people pleasing, setting up a poor foundation. And so you can build a foundation and be proud of it. But then when you look back and realize it's poorly set, and you have to kind of go backwards and fill in the cracks or dig it back up and relay a new foundation. And that's kind of where I'm at now of like, yes, we did a good thing. It was all for good reason. We learned a lot, but now it's going back and finding the cracks. And there's a lot of them, all the way down from, low pricing, right? Because when you start out that way and you have that scarcity mindset, your prices are low. You set your prices low. You overbook yourself, you overextend. And so I hit burnout, and I hit burnout really bad to the point where I had no option but to look internally and figure out what the issue was.
Yeah, it's crazy that I'm listening, and it's like me, I'm like I can call myself a nerd now with this stuff. Like when I hear people's stories or like their perspectives, I'm intrigued for sure, because like what you're talking about, I had been writing about something in my journal about like how everybody seems to be in a state of like busyness. Like it's always what's next. And I told myself something that I feel like I need to get better at. And I was telling my friend the other day, and they were like, what are you talking about? Like, because I just randomly brought it up. Like, we were talking about a whole different thing. And I'm like, I feel like I just need to be more present. They're like, what do you? And I feel like for me, I'm always, because the workaholic mindset, okay, we did this, let's do something else. Or like, we did this for today, we checked it off the list. Okay, what's next? And I remember like a year or two ago, coming back from work, and I was just like, months prior, I had just been waking up, going to work, doing my regular routine. And there's nothing wrong with routines. Routines help you stay on the course. But it was like, I recognized that that's all I was just doing what I know, versus like not being intentional about the way that I was moving. Like, okay, I'm doing this because of this. I'm going here because this is what I want to see take place in my life. And we could get so busy that we just, hey, I'm gonna do this. Okay, now I got a meeting. Okay, I got another meeting. And then same thing over and over again. Like you said, you can reach burnout. You could like, hey, I'm accomplishing things, I'm doing things, but I'm not healthy internally. I'm not healthy physically. Like, so it's like me recognizing that and seeing that moment that I went through. And also more importantly, hearing about what you went through is just like a constant reminder that, yeah, it's cool to be busy, but you got to take time for yourself. You got to take a step back and understand I love what you said, like about the foundation, because if it's not built on the right thing, then you got to go back. It's like when you rush something. It's like, no, you didn't even write your name because you forgot to write your name. You forgot to read the instructions. Otherwise, you would have done it the right way. So it's like, this season of my life that I'm in, it just reminded me like, yes, I want you to be productive, Leon, but you got to remember that just take it easy. Because I think we get so social media, I say anything in life could be used for the most part, can be used for good or bad. You can wake up and we can both check something on our Instagram feed and see something that makes us doubt everything that we've been working for. Like, man, I got to be doing more of this. When in reality, it's not to say that you shouldn't be pushing yourself to new limits, but it's like, don't base your path off somebody else's because you don't know what it took them to get to where they are.
It's full circle. We go back to that outside validation. And that's how we started. And now we're back full circle dealing with the same thing of slowing down, being present, not worrying about what everybody else is doing. And I think that that's right. We're all just trying to keep up with the race. We're trying to keep, somewhere in the middle or on top or, at the forward. But I will just let me be clear. My mom is a really great mom.
Yeah, for sure.
But our parents are influential. And when we grow up with something that seems normal, because that's, she has to heal from that too, not just me.
Right.
And so because that high achieving was so normal and that rush to get everything done was so normal for me, I grew up into it, that it didn't feel like a problem until now. And one of the biggest lessons that I had to learn over the last few years is that your productivity is not a measurement of your worth. And so you don't have to stay busy. You don't have to, like you were saying, the stereotype of you have to get good grades or you have to do this in sports and, your parents' praise and all of that. You're enough before that. Yeah. And so regardless of how you were raised, whether it was the same way I was or less or more or whatever, we all have to go around it some way or another.
Yeah. It reminds me when people talk about their upbringing, it's man, the stuff that we think is normal, just how we even normalize killings, death, because it happens so much, you're this what go down.
Right.
And really that's not normal. Kids being harmed at places where they should be having fun, that's not normal, but it's happened so much. It's well, let's just roll with it. This is what it is. This is what I come from. This is what I'm doing. And like you said something so important about it's not just me that has to heal. My mom got to heal from it because I watched her. So I can only imagine where it stemmed from with her. So it's not only that, once you're better because of it, but when your mom heals from it, whenever that may be, then you'll see a change. You'll see a difference. And then you guys will be able to come to somebody and say, you don't have to do that because of what you said regarding you are enough before that. And I always tell people me, I'm not a person that get caught up in titles because before any of that, I'm a human being with feelings, with worth. And that's not measured by the degree. That's not measured by how many people I did something for. It's my character that matters more than any achievement that I could ever have or accomplish. So I just love that because so many people feel I gotta do this because if I don't have these many dollars next to my name or if I don't have these many degrees, and it's you run into what you said, the burnout, the stress, the loss of why, you don't even know why you're doing this anymore, or the why that you have is not, that's something that's suitable for you.
Right. But
when you understand I'm valuable if I lose all of that tomorrow, not saying that you want to go out there and lose it tomorrow, but if it so happens that certain things don't go your way, you are still valuable. So I just love that because I think so many people need to hear that because I personally feel we are in a state of validation. Yeah. Let's just stay busy. And nobody's knocking you shouldn't grind for what you want. And I'm not saying that, but there's more to life than, the dollar signs and all of this extra stuff that really, when you pass away or when you kick the bucket, as my friend would say, it's not, that stuff can't go with you. It'll be a distant memory. You know what I'm saying? So I love that for sure. I love it. So now that I love that whole piece that we just did. Now it was, the more and more you kept talking about certain stuff, I'm okay, let's talk about this. But so now I want to ask you about Nguyen Creative. So how does that come about? What is I need to do this because of what situation birthed that?
Yep. I've had multiple business names over time. It's usually has something to do around my name. And this rebrand happened a couple years ago. I went full time. So I was part time for most of the 10 years. Maybe 3 years ago, I went full time. And that was kind of when I did the rebirth. And I decided I want to do more than just be a photographer. I want to share my expertise. I want to show people what to do with their content. I want to do workshops and be a public speaker. And I want to help people do more strategy and less just, batching content. And so I was like, I was helping a friend with their socials. And I was like, okay, well, this is what you want to do. We were in a conference room and I had the whiteboard up and they were just looking at me with their jaw open and they're like, you're a strategist. You're a digital marketing strategist. And they were like, this is your creative genius. And the way that you just put this together and it made sense. The way you simplified it and didn't make it intimidating or like a chore for me. And when they titled me a digital marketing strategist, I was like, photographer, digital marketing strategist, I can get with that.
Right.
But then I was like, but my business name at the time was Dele Nguyen Photography. And I was like, well, that's too, everybody names their business their first, middle, whatever name. And I was like, okay, it's time to have a big girl title. So I just named it Nguyen Creative. My last name is Nguyen. It's Vietnamese. And obviously it sounds like we're winning. So yeah, for sure. I was like, let's win creative. And so now we're full service digital marketing agency. And I say we, but it's just me. I'm out in the field majority of the time shooting. And then I come home and put it all together and make it make sense for my clients. And I shoot it back to them. I also offer social media management, just the consultations, still do the workshops and the public speaking too. So
yeah, dope. Yeah, and I've seen some clips and I'm like, okay, she's doing her thing out there. That's dope. That's dope to hear because I feel like I was at a place where with my podcast, I was going to stop doing my podcast because everybody, I feel like me, I'm the type of person, I'm weird this way. Once everybody is doing something, I don't want to do it no more.
I feel it.
But then somebody was like, bro, you built that. You took the time out. You said why you wanted to do this. It's not like everybody else. And it's I know my why. So why would I stop?
Absolutely.
Why would I stop because everybody else? Because I'm I look up now, basketball players that I would never think would have podcasts or actors or celebrities that I would think would not just have a podcast. But it's it just reminds me just even hearing your story and just the whole thing we've been talking about is when you passionate about something, when you have a desire to get something out to the masses or help somebody along the way, it's man, all of that stuff that's trying to get you, it's just a distraction to get you to stop or say, should I lowball the price or should I not go or should I not do this? It's just a constant reminder that distractions try to come and take you away from the journey. So I just love that.
Being a creative entrepreneur is just simply a life test. Entrepreneurship in general. Yeah. But my craft is the same as yours in that it's an oversaturated market. But when you're called to do something, you have to do it right. Yeah. And so sure. You keep going regardless. Maybe you learn something that, you try to find ways to stay ahead of the game. But it's just a test. It's a test. Like you said, all the distractions. And are you going to sit in it and let it affect you? Or are you going to go around it? Or are you going to find a way that makes you special? Or are you going to, and then the stuff we were talking about earlier with the burnout and the validation and stuff, it's all a test.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to master it and change the outcome.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny, this next question, I was actually looking at a post on my way over about the Detroit Creative Union. So tell us how that got started. I know you are the co-founder of that, so claps in the chat for that.
Thank you.
How did that get started and what was the need for this? Okay, we need to create this because we see a lack of or we need more. How was that?
Okay, so I'm gonna again full circle it back to the beginning with the mom friend stuff, right? I am the mom friend, and part of that is like not only being nurturing but hospitable. I love, through any of the businesses and brands that I've built, a part of everything that I do is curating spaces for people. So I've always done that. I've always had a love for it, and back when a couple years ago when I was discovering my burnout and how like, girl, you need some hobbies outside of work. You need to find something to do. Right. Menace Media put out a call for residents. And I was like, you know what? Even though this is still like along the lines of what I do as a career, I need something that's a passion project that's I'm not getting paid for, that it's more of a collaborative effort. I'm working with others. I'm not isolated anymore. Yeah. And I went through a really long interview process. And I got in. And so 6 of us, thank you, we're all residents and we all have different roles. And I've known the guys for 8 years. We used to work in the music industry together. Okay. And so they put me with the role of event planning. And I was like, okay, like, yeah, I can do this. Like, I've done it before. Yeah. And now I have like backing and funding and everything. And I have the space. We're out of Chroma. So it's fun. And I started curating, intentionally curating spaces for creatives, because I feel like we face a wide scale of things, setbacks in our community, but the biggest ones are lack of information or like resources, lack of space to create. People are looking for spaces like this, right? Studios, and galleries and things like that. And then the last one is community. People are looking for places to network and meet people, because especially in Detroit, I'm sure it goes for everywhere, but especially in Detroit, it's not always about what you know or what you can do. It's about who you know. Yeah. So you can be the smartest in your field. You can be the most talented in your field, but who do you know? Right. And so I'm also an event connoisseur, like professional event connoisseur in Detroit. So I'm going to all the networking events. I'm going to all the women's events. I'm going to all the creative events, the tech events. And there was kind of this, a lot of things happening in common that I kind of like wasn't messing with. And the events were curated more for what looked good for the city, or for like the fluffy networking happy hour stuff, the motivation, let's go team. Right. And I wanted it to be like raw. I wanted to be intentional. I wanted a space where like you didn't have to, I don't know. I just like a safe space to just be. And we're not doing all the fluff. Like the last few have been fluffy. I'm not gonna lie. It has been, but we have to scale, right? So you have to start somewhere. But we fully intend to have really deep and extensive workshops. We just dropped one today, and the Creative Union, we're going to dive into topics like the next one is health and wellness. Okay. The next one after that, we're talking about gentrification. Yeah. These are conversations that you don't get tickets to an event and go to, and they're just outright talking about gentrification. This is something that people talk on podcasts or within each other behind closed doors, but this is not typically a conversation we say loud and proud. And so we want to open that conversation. And then we'll dive into more topics like AI and things like that. But so it's a wide range of topics, obviously. But it's for our creative community. Yeah.
I love that, because I feel like you guys are providing a need, because I always say like you could, obviously we've heard the different accomplishments that you've achieved, but in that, most of it is geared towards helping somebody, providing a service for somebody that may not have it or may not know something. So I respect, not to say like I don't respect you if you do stuff for yourself, but I think it's more honorable in my eyes when you look beyond like, yeah, I got a degree, but I'm using that to pour into my community or to pour into the girl who wants to play with the camera just like me, to let her know whatever you want to do with this camera, you just have to. You may not know it right now, but know that what is going to push you there is your character, the hard work, but your character is what helps you, because you got to know before this camera and after you stop using this camera, you're worth it. So I I just love the fact that everything that you're doing, everything that you create or you're a part of is helping somebody get something that maybe they never had before or that they've desperately been looking for. So I commend you on that, because we need more people like that, because you'll start to see a change. Like I always say, each of us have a piece to this puzzle called change. And once we go to where we're supposed to go, it'll, come out the way that we intend for it to be. So I just love that for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The underdogs need the support.
Yep. I agree. Yeah, I love that. And so now, hearing about the journey, what would you say was a moment for you that was challenging for you, but ultimately when you look back on it, it helped you a lot? I feel like it's going to be good the way you paused and look.
And see, of course, I never think it's that good of an answer, but I would say asking for help. Like I said, grew up really isolated. My mom was a single mom, workaholic, so that's kind of what I did. I just did what I thought was normal. Put my head down, locked in, built something. But as soon as I hit my wall, I looked around and I said, and of course, this is common for everybody, but like when you achieve things, but you don't think you achieved all that much. Right. And so in my mind, people are like, oh my God, you're doing this and you're doing that and you're doing so good and you're successful. And in my head, I'm like, really? Because I still feel like I'm kind of at square one. And so that was kind of the outlook, but your network is your net worth. And I built a really good one just by being myself, going out to these events, building rapport with clients and then their network. And it's a really, really healthy network. And so when I hit my burnout and I looked around and I was like, wow, I'm struggling mentally. My business is struggling, with sustaining what I have going on. I'm just one person. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I feel like I can't move forward because my capacity is limited, but I also it's not in me to go backwards or to slow down. And I don't even know how to approach that. Like, what is the healthy way to approach slowing down? I've never known. And so, yeah, the hardest thing, but the most life-changing and business-changing thing was asking for help from my network. And that is how you can, if you can't afford, we're startups, the startup life is so long. Funding is scarce sometimes. Maybe you're rich one month and you're not the next. Trade services. If you need help, trade services. And so that's, if not just people becoming mentors and just helping willingly, I'm trading services to make sure that I'm pouring into me so that I can keep my business going and my bills paid. To just keep afloat and keep going.
Yeah, I love that. I think I feel like people downplay that so much. Like we swear we don't need anybody, or like you definitely, like the last few years I've learned, you definitely need people. The biggest lie we can tell ourselves, I just need myself. You can do so much, but you don't know it all. And even the people that's helping you, they don't know it all. But there's somebody out there that is doing what you want to do. There's somebody who's gotten farther than where you are right now that you can ask. So me, I get it though, because this is a silly way of why I think the way that I think. But when I was a kid, I was riding back from my friend at the time. We were at this birthday celebration or whatever, and I had my headphones in, and I guess my dad had called my friend's grandma and was like, can you take my son back home? Because we stayed close to each other at that time. And they're like, yeah, they said that to him on the phone. And so I didn't have anything planned. I just had my headphones and I would do weird stuff like that back then. But the lady hung up the phone and was like, yeah, see, she went into this narrative about how my dad don't speak to her when he see her, or I don't speak, which I don't know about my dad, because my dad can be kind of one minute he speak to you, the next minute he don't. But like you said about your mom, my dad is a good guy, but just, I know my dad. But me, I speak to, my auntie called me the social butterfly. So if I didn't speak to you, either I become deaf or I just blind, one of the two. And I don't see that in my near future. But she was like, yeah, he don't speak to me either. So I was like, that moment right there shaped me. I'm not asking anybody for anything. And that's so crazy. You would think like, that would make you do that. But it's like, I say that to say, because situations, experiences form us in a way. Like, okay, you saw how your mom lived. I had this situation. So it's like, okay, I'm going to make sure anything that I do, I want to make sure that I'm in a position to where I don't have to ask anybody. Or if I do, it's got to be somebody that I know for a fact can help me or won't hold it against me. That's my biggest thing. Like, if I do something for somebody, I'm not a person that's like, you remember when I did this for you in '08? Like, it don't like, hopefully you did that back then because you wanted to do that, not because later down the line you was going to need a favor. And if they don't do it, or if they don't say what you said back then now you hold it against them. So it's just like, we definitely do need people, because
the way I think of it too,
yeah,
if we are willing to, right, we don't really know each other that well. Right. We just started having conversation, but you saw potential in a conversation via social media, whatever I was working on, whatever you saw. And I do this for my clients. We do this for other people we barely know. And we see potential, we want to help. Right? We're talking about serving others. And so if I can just see a client that I've just met or don't even know yet, and be willing to take every fiber in my being to support you and get you where you need to go. Because another thing is, like, I structured my business. Another reason for my low price point is because startups don't always have funding. And they deserve to start their business, though. They need the marketing, they need the content. And so, like, if I'm willing to scrape up everything that I have and pour everything I have into you, I'm giving away free strategy. I'm giving you a discount on this because I want to see you win.
Right.
I just want to see you win. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't want anything in return. I just want you. I see what you have, your product, your service, and I know you can kill it. And if all you need are a couple of photos, I got you.
Yeah.
So if I can do that for others, who's to say that my network isn't willing to do that for me?
Yeah.
There's somebody in my network. It might not be all of them, or it might not be a majority of them, but there has to be one person in my network that thinks like me, and is willing to help me just because they want to see me do good.
Yeah. Love that. I love that. And I wholeheartedly agree, because I say, I don't want from you, I want for you. So at the end of the day, we do the things that we do because we understand the need. At some point in our journey, we've been to, well, I didn't have this. So now that I have it, I want to be able to help somebody else get it as well. And then also, it comes from character, like seeing all the stuff, everything that happened on your journey birthed the very things that you're doing now. So it's just like you say, full circle moment. So I love to hear that. And so as we getting towards the end, my next question for you is, so the theme for this season of the podcast is intentional clarity, right? So you can get clarity. Somebody could tell you something and it be clear to you, and you not act on it and you're not doing anything. It's not enough just to receive the clarity over a situation, right? It's not enough to say, hey, this is your purpose, Adele. It's about what you do with it. So that's where being intentional comes into play. So what would you say has been a moment of intentional clarity for you?
A lot of these questions are tough just because I'm living through them right now. I think that, well, my mom is always, okay. Growing up, I was always the bossy one. I was always bossy, and I took that narrative, like, oh, you're the bossy one. But my mom told me, she was like, no, you've just always been a leader. She always clarified that growing up. And then even to this day, I was like, Ma, like, I'm watching other people's leadership skills, and it's really making me think that I got this one in the bag, because the way people communicate is just crazy to me. Or the way people are so disorganized and just lack, like, prioritizing tasks and taking care of their team and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, I think I'm actually better at this than I think. And my mom was like, you were literally a born leader. And so I've always kind of had a general clarity on that. But I think that more recently, right, photography felt like that was the purpose. It felt like media, photography, strategizing, all of that. It felt like that was the purpose. And I kind of got distracted in that, or took that a little too literal, in a sense that, like, no, that's not it. And the reason why I think the clarity is even more clear now is because opportunities keep coming to me, forcing me in the other direction of like, yes, stay behind the camera, but we need you to do this over here. We need you to do this over here. And I keep being called in this other direction for more like event planning, leadership, running teams, helping nonprofits, and basically building what I've built, but obviously in a healthier way for other people.
Right.
Because people have just seen how it's worked for me. But as far as like the blueprint and that clarity, we're still waiting. We're still waiting. And it'll come to me. I just don't know when. Yeah. I can see it like, you know, in those documentaries when the map kind of like fades. Yeah. and it just comes into like that's kind of what's happening. Bits and pieces are coming to the surface for me. But I'm still figuring it out. Yeah. It's not something I can really force right now because I'm still, you know, trying to maintain my business and that, but also exploring that new stuff that's calling me. Yeah,
you're currently on the journey right now is what I look at it as. You know that for sure, the clarity is that I'm a born leader. That's just what it is. And I'm confident in that. I'm not cocky in that. That's just the reality of it. But I'm on this journey now to find the intentional piece. I have the clarity, but now from your standpoint, you're finding, okay, how do I need to be intentional about this? Because there's so many things happening that are pushing me in a certain direction. So now I'm on a journey to figure out, like, is this is where I need to go? Or like, if this is the path, what lies for me there? So I love that.
I think the intentionality, well, you could say it goes back to the character. As long as you stay true to yourself and you're holding authentic to the things that fulfill you, make you happy, you're still being present while you're doing, you're not overextending and adding things onto your plate you don't have capacity for. Yeah. But that is the way the intentionality of it will kind of surface that way if you just follow your character and stay true to yourself. Yeah, definitely. Love to hear that. And as we wrap up, something I always like to end with my guests is if you had to give somebody one piece of advice, what would it be? Do it and ask for forgiveness later. Love just that. Just do it. Whatever it is, however scary it is, just do it. If it affects other people, a client came to me and she was like, well, I want to drop this content, but it might be too forward and I don't want to, step on other people's toes or make them feel like I'm, doing too much. Do it. Right. Do it. And ask for forgiveness later. And anybody has their feelings hurt, too bad. Hey, man, this has been a great podcast. I feel like I've learned more just of your mindset and the person that you are and the type of, help that you want to give others. And I've just had a great time here with our episode. So likewise. Before we get out of here, y'all know, I got to end with a quote. Last time I didn't end with a quote, but I got something today. Matter of fact, to make sure I don't say it the wrong way, I got to make sure I pull it up in my phone here because it was a quote, one of those quotes I got to put in my phone. Whenever I put it in my phone, just know it's a gem. It's a gem. Let me see. Wow, this is kind of embarrassing because I thought I was going to find it right away. Here it goes. It says, a gift without guidance will still leave you lost, right? It's not enough just to have a gift, but you got to have a guide. That foundation we talked about, you got to have that or else you'll be lost. Thank y'all for tuning in to the converSAYtion podcast. We'll see y'all same time, same place. That was good. That was a gem. What the heck? That's it. Perfect. So I've been telling these short stories to, like 10 minutes away from here, I help out at a mentoring program, an all-male mentoring program. I've been doing that for the last 4 or 5 years. And I was like, man, I got to switch up. We have something called Circle Talk where we talk about different topics. I had them watching